We've all heard someone say it.
Don't judge me.
Don't judge me.
You shouldn't judge people.
And it's become a common theme in American culture and politics. You shouldn't judge. Politicians lecture us, the media lectures us, and protesters demand from us that we be tolerant and accepting. And a key component of this, we are told, is to stop being so judgmental. I mean, after all, didn't Jesus say, don't judge? And if anyone disagrees, this is what happens. But perhaps all of the judgments coming from the don't be so judgmental crowd are why more Americans than ever before are admitting that they feel an intense pressure to self-censor. In fact, according to recent polling, over 70% of conservatives and more than 60% of moderates admit that the political climate prevents them from saying things they believe because others might find them offensive. Of course, when presented with these statistics, the don't be judgmental crowd simply replies with the following.
Racism is in the heart of the country.
Systemic.
So does this mean that 62% of Americans are really nothing more than intolerant bigots? Well, probably not. In fact, opinion polling shows that the United States is actually one of the most socially accepting countries on earth. And the irony of the don't be judgmental crowd is that the United States isn't nearly as racist or sexist or as bigoted as they claim it is. What's more, and listen to this part closely, chastising someone for judging actually requires making a judgment in the first place. And the faulty logic of this line of thinking is actually deeper than most people realize. After all, when it comes to issues directly related to public safety, infrastructure, healthcare, etc., we are all pretty eager to be judgmental. And for good reason, because without sound judgment on these issues, the consequences become obvious in the form of higher crime, dangerous buildings and bridges, and botched surgeries. I mean, if your doctor cut off the wrong leg, you probably wouldn't be very satisfied with him telling you, hey man, you shouldn't judge. In reality, using your judgment is an essential part of being a rational adult. Now, does that mean you should condemn someone for merely disagreeing with you or perhaps sharing a different perspective? No, of course not. But interestingly enough, that's exactly what has happened as people have traded good and sound judgment for another version that seems purely arbitrary. And as a result, people are becoming increasingly afraid to share their judgments on important issues that affect everyone, not out of fear of being judged, but of being silenced. And by the way, no, Jesus wasn't telling people not to judge. He was warning us about hypocrisy, arrogance, and the dangers of poor and improper judgment, and it's not hard to tell the difference. Just read Matthew 7. But here's the bottom line. Not judging is not only dangerous, it's actually impossible. Actions require judgment. And if you want good actions, well, that typically requires good judgment.